to Gears of War in Gears of War 2 in Horde mode. So what happened over the last 2 days is that the Gears of War game Part 2 had an update to it, and that update was involved moving over to a 4K setup, which is actually pretty cool to know that, you know, these older games get so low. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to run through some of the old school Gears of War 2, some practice runs, if you will, and see if I can knock some of the rust off from where I used to play Gears of War 2, and show you guys kind of what it was like to play in a time when there was no fabricators, no construction, no nothing. It was just pretty much the game you see here. So the history of Gears of War was obviously that Gears of War 2, when it came to Horde, Gears of War 2 was the first game to introduce it. That was way back when it came out in 2008, and it was a very, as you can see, it's a very rudimentary game. In the same respect, it did have a lot of, back for the time, there was a lot involved in how this was played because of the way Horde was set up. I don't actually know if there were any other games that had a Horde style setup in it. I'm pretty sure the basis of Horde itself is the idea that instead of playing against other players, which most games did, Horde gave you the ability to play again with 5 other players or 4 other players, and what you did was you fought waves and waves of bad guys, and this kind of introduced a new concept in the idea that you weren't just playing some sort of campaign mode. You were playing some sort of mode where the bad guys were random, things were more dynamic, and it was a very interesting way of playing Horde, and it caught on really quick. I remember finding the Horde mode on Gears of War 2 pretty much the second I turned it on. And although back then, kind of, you know, you were the versus guys, it really was that you first ran through your campaign, then you played some versus, and then you thought about whatever options, or maybe even just turned the game off, because, you know, there wasn't a lot of options back then with games other than just, you know, you're going to play this mode or play this mode, and that was that. So what happened is when we played, we were like, oh, well, there's this new thing over here called Horde, so let's see how it works. And basically, it moved us into that infantry mode of being able to play with, you know, there's just 50 waves of Horde. There was basically, it was another version of playing the game almost in a campaign setting, but in the same respect, you were playing with random creatures and random things. So you get to still play your characters, but the bad guys they're gonna, you know, do whatever they have to do to survive as well. They're not gonna be, you know, a lot of times you'll see in a linear kind of gameplay when it came to single player gameplay. There was a linear kind of gameplay, and when it came to Gears of War 2, now you didn't have that linear gameplay set up anymore. Now it was, I'm going to have a static environment where the bad guys are trying to take over my space, and then I can, you know, put ourselves in positions the way we want, change things, and, like I said, use cover. Basically how the game was designed to make it more affable for everybody. In other words, if you played single player, the idea of tagging a grenade wasn't a concept. But when it came to Horde, that was a tactic. So, for instance, I'm standing up to the top of the mansion here, which is Adam Phoenix's house. I'm playing Anthony Carmine, and I'm seeing 2 entrances up top here that I can throw together some grenades. So let's see if any grenades are laying around or if everybody grabbed them. Chances are they grabbed them, but no, they didn't. So here we go with this. But with this one, the ink grenades, I only get to pick up 1. As you can see, there's sometimes random things sitting around the map. So then I came up here, and because I want to defend my position, I can install my little grenade there. And now that's a countermeasure for later on. And then the other thing is that, you know, creatures are going to try to survive. They're going to do what they need to do to live and take positions that are tactical. In the same respect, unlike, you know, when it comes to versus, everything seems to end up being, I guess, I don't want to use the words more fair or less fair, but the idea that when it comes to that, you kind of get this thing about people who really, humans know how to manipulate the system, if you will. And when it comes to a game like this, when it came to Horde, the gameplay was more, I don't want to say more realistic, but it was more realistic in the idea that characters aren't trying to glitch the system and trying to find little ways to fire off in different ways. You're just straight playing the game, and you have to use a sort of military structure to your combat. You have to find out what works, what doesn't, and then stick to something that's, you know, consistent within that. Waited for me to. But yeah, each thing has its own little way of. Each map has its own positions, its own structure, its way of defending bases, and allows you to. I mean, for Gears, I think it was a lot better to play Horde than it was to play Versus when it came to saying. I mean, if you see that I have my wings there. Having your wings was like a big deal, and if you ever tried to go get it, it was a nightmare. The upping was very slow. There was a point when a lot of XP was given out to players who played, but if you, I mean, I find leveling harder than taken seriously. Do a little gameplay here, and I just want to enjoy the experience. I've actually been playing since round 1. This is actually my game that I started, and I had a friend join, and then because of so I had a friend join, and then after that, we set it up as social. And then once I set up a social, then you get one person to join. So you can see, like, I have my level, but I don't have serious. So like you said, it kind of puts you in position. Oh, there he goes running after. That was magical. So here we have a team of 5. We're on wave 20. It's going to go for 50 waves. Oh, so one thing I did want to discuss was that, as you notice, in other Gears of Wars, we actually had structures that we could defend things with. So we could build turrets, and then when it came to Gears of War 4, we could build stuff out of the fabricator. And in this one, none of that exists. You don't have any fabricators. You don't have any structures. You just have basically women of prayer and a lot of luck. And the other thing that you could do, obviously, you know, tagging grenades was a big deal. The other thing you could do is you can see people carrying these shields. The shields were amazing at being able to block areas. There's only certain creatures that could, excuse me, get around those structures. So what they'll do is we actually put those shields inside of things like the doorways there, and what that did was it caused them to have tough time getting through. So anything that's humanoid could still knock something down. The can't remember the name of the sires. The sires could actually kick the stuff down, but for the most part, anything else, boomers, anything like that, couldn't kick the shields down. So as long as the shields are up, or you got some of the layer system, and then you target certain enemies at certain times, then you can get ahead of it. I'm really tempted to pick up that sniper rifle. It has been a while. I was practicing popping heads earlier today, doing a really good job with it on the Boltok, which is kind of my go-to. I guess leadership positions always have kind of that Boltok setup where you pop heads with the Boltok, and that's the thing is I am very rusty, but I was doing okay. So if it keeps up, I may actually go back to it and maybe pick up. See that? Gotta catch those eyes. He ran right back down. So yeah, so if everything works out and I can get back to it, it really is an excellent way of wow, I don't even know what the heck happened. Where is he at? Okay, I guess he is over here. No. It's kind of junk. I ran all the way around for nothing. So yeah, once you can start popping heads, the sniper rifle, and you'll see it play over in some. If you watch some of the old Gears of War 3 videos, we're trying to put some stuff back together to make sure you guys can see some of that stuff that I've never had on the channel and never really recorded. I used to record certain things, but the demand for Gears of War content, not that it wasn't there, but I just kind of didn't see it other than playing certain kinds of videos and things like mixed videos and that kind of thing. Those seem to be popular, and I didn't really have anything else to put through it. I didn't think that you could like really just play Horde, and now looking back on it, I'm kind of like, well, that was kind of stupid of me. But yeah, I forgive myself now, moving forward, and then we can put some of these Horde stuff up, maybe get some more Gears of War 3, maybe get some Beast Mode in. I want to get a couple of really fast Beast Mode runs in to show everybody how these older games have really played, and how, I mean, since 2008, we're seeing a 4K update, and we're noticing that this kind of gameplay isn't, I guess the word is aged, if that makes sense. It still has a really cool, relevant way of doing things, and I find that a lot of fun because, you know, here's a game, Gears of War 2, 2008. I mean, I'm like freaking 10 years old here, and here I am, you know, putting it on my Xbox One with 4K and playing the game like it's new. There you go. So that's the thing is I don't know how many, a lot of people are big, like there's a torn kind of idea that Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3, you always hear that argument that, you know, which one is better. And I honestly, I kind of see each one as having their own positives and negatives. And it's pretty cool to have a game where you can say that, and not just playing one game, but being able to play all the games. And that was a lot of fun to me because I can plug Gears of War 2 in, and that's, you know, something that I don't think you could do so much with Versus, but I think you can do that really well with Horde. Even with Versus, you get back on Versus, I'm sure there's people that play it, but and obviously that's going to always have, I guess, the most demand. But in the same respect, you pull that game out, turn on game of Horde, and booyah, you know, you're back to where you know, random enemies, everything's different, everything's unique, stuff like that, like what just happened, like just random events that make up the gameplay experiences. And that's something you probably won't, I mean, even with Versus, you're going to find, you know, you get back on it, if you're rusty at all, you end up having a couple of guys. I mean, even if you don't know how to play, you jump on jump on some kind of Versus, you know, mode, and you're going to find yourself getting destroyed, especially with an old game like this where your reactions are not the same as they were when you first played it, and people just know how to basically, you know, whack the game around and know how to exploit things, versus when you play Horde and the bad guys they're not going to be, I guess the word is picky, they're just going to be themselves. Like that. I'm out. Seriously? Not paying attention, and I need grenades. Where are these guys at? Him. I'm gonna go this way and see if I can rescue. Told you I was rusty. It's slowly coming back to me. That felt like a headshot. Even though it really felt like one. Well, you can't miss that way. That might be.
You sucker like die, then go dead. Come, try me.
That's the other thing about playing games like this too, especially with Horde, is that you end up with with game. I'm trying to listen to what some of the people are saying. The mics are, some of them are 360 mics. I'm trying to, because this is I'm playing on Xbox One versus playing on the 360. Making a move back to these games is amazing because you get a lot of the characters that are like, things weren't picky back then. There was no microtransactions, no stuff that like really kind of made life, I guess the word is difficult. Like with Gears of War 3, it was like I just was like, I want all the skins, so I bought all the skins. Not, I mean, there was stuff that I guess didn't get because of the timing with it or with, you know, certain things, and that's okay. Like I didn't get Jesus, that sucked. There we go. I didn't get the flaming weapon skins because I wasn't part of the what do you call it? My brain is just jello right now. I wasn't part of the demo for it. Wasn't part of the beta, and because I wasn't part of the beta guys, every day they logged in got some sort of benefit from doing it, and I really would have liked to have been a part of it. But I didn't get to do it, so I missed out on that. And that was kind of the thing is that it's otherwise you just bought the stuff and you had it. So if you wanted to play one thing or another, you trust me, sooner or later you were getting it. And that was a blast. And now you don't really. I mean, there's tons of skins I don't have in Gears of War 4, which is unfortunate because I kind of hoped that I did have access to them. But basically there's a card schematic system that works that, you know, makes things a little bit difficult because I don't get a lot of things that I want to craft. And I mean, if you've seen some of the videos we've done before, we've done some Horde stuff, and it's like, played a lot of Horde, played a lot of speed runs on the early Horde for Gears 4, and then they did the update. I can imagine how many cards I sold that I could have had level 6 in. I mean, I probably could have had a level 6 in Hammer of Dawn already, and I don't. And it's because I ended up selling a lot of the cards, not realizing that later on I was going to need them. And then with the same thing, now that the new setup came out, I haven't been able to collect really enough to get the new kind of skins rolling, or new stuff rolling, so 8 campuses. I'll kill you by shooting you in your arm. The other thing is this controller is so much more sensitive than it is in the other games. I just feel like I'm So yeah, there's a lot of skins that I mean, you can see I have my gold weapon skins. I got all the golds, I think, for this game. And I don't have any that's even close to it, and even some of the cards. Whee! Dead yet? Not so much of that, dude.
Got him.
And that's it. And well, Gears of War 2, the only real skins you had was the gold ones. There wasn't anything like really special out there like you got in Gears 3. Like you had so many skins. I mean, it was hard to keep up with it in the beginning, and then once they came out with the buy everything packs, you could just basically buy every base skin they had, which was great. Allowed you to keep ahead of the curve when it came to that.
Got him.
I would like to have ammo. Definitely headshots.
Oh yeah!
You can see there, we put the boom shield down. Put that down. It's not kind of position. And the other thing too, I like play random games, and you really see how like players play, if you will. Still tapping my button like trying to mark this thing. Oh, jeez. Come on. There we go.
I'll take that.
That kind of fallen sucked. But you always get it.
Let's move out. Yeah, I could really use this. Yeah.
That's the other thing is you end up dropping stuff. No, see, it disappeared. Now I don't have it. This is such a bad position. Try to get some. Oh, yeah, this thing you gotta get used to. Getting used to those attacks.
Revive me.
Let me test.
Incoming in!
Every time I get thing where I'm like, I can't hear myself, and I've had, I mean, if you guys have followed me for a little bit, I've had problems with my stream volume. Well, that wasn't cool. That is what's stunk about Gears of War 2. You can't pick anybody up. Thanks. So yeah, that's the other thing is when you go down in Gears of War 2, you're down for good. At least you can get picked up a little bit, but the pain is still there.
I kill you.
Oh, and that's one thing that I liked in Gears of War 2 that you could not get in other Gears was the social format, which is how we're playing it now. And in the social format, you were allowed to have people added, and so people would just leave in the middle of the game because they had stuff to do. But when somebody tried to join back up, they could join active games, and that means you ended up in the middle of a game sometimes. But in the same respect, didn't matter because you always had a team that would constantly fluctuate. So if you had 3 people, then you had 4 people, then you had 5 people, then back to 4, then back to 3 or 5 and whatever. You know, there's somebody else here with wings that has joined up, and the Move Me Dirty Zone is my friend and has been friends with me for a while. And then the rest of the guys are just randoms. But I can tell one of them's got close to, I'm guessing, getting his wings. That's probably why he's playing. I am not a big fan of the structure. But I don't have to be. The light. See, I don't have flamethrower. Know anybody can climb up through the vent.
Got it.
The only time we get weapon between active rounds.
Oh yeah.
Or inactive rounds, sorry.
Hardly seems fair.
The other thing, I don't remember, there was one version of the game where like friendly fire was on for the bad guys. I don't know if it's this one or not, which is kind of cool because you could take tickers, blow them up near their buddies, and bad things happen. One thing I do like about the Gears of War format, Gears is the Gears 2 format, was that you didn't have the there's no kind of point system that really, you know, benefits one way or the other. So like the better you do, the more stuff you get, kind of thing. It's just a is what it is kind of system. But was good because it was the starting system. So there's really no way of saying, well, which one's better, this one or this one? And the other thing is that each one having their positives and negatives, and now we're up to 2 times on everything. So like I said, you kind of went to whichever one you enjoyed playing, and that was that. The other thing is being able to have quick access to weapons here versus, you know, other variations. You don't get those kinds of, you know, quick reactions or quick stuff. Alright, well that was quick. Things in this horde could get serious fairly quickly versus other ones. It took a little time to go bad. Here, like you said, if you can't raise anybody or resurrect anybody or buy your way back in, you're dead. That's it.
It's as good as hunting boar. That's her even. Sweet.
So things can get difficult really, really quickly. The other thing is keeping up with the shields, because the shields disappeared, you're out of luck. So like that, all the shields right there are gone. Man, he's getting up close and personal over there.
Lucky shot. Out of the way.
Like if you want to get up close and personal like this, better have your stuff ready.
Hey, I could really use this.
The other thing is between rounds, to keep stuff from disappearing, all you do is just touch it, and it stays, which is cool for shields. So if I just take this shield over here, and I go over here, pick that one up.
This'll do.
And drop that one, then pick that one up, and then keep it. Those other two will stay close.
Yeah, I could really use this.
Oh, and if you think that games are long in other ones, like Gears of War 2 is scrapping and long haul. It takes a while to get in these games.
Got him. I could use this.
Where'd I throw my shields?
Get up!
Oh, that's something else I need to say was you can't mark in Gears of War 2, which is the only time that mark button is when you want to shift from a low ready position against the wall to a higher position against the wall. And what'll happen is that if you tagged in the past, you end up getting confused and dancing on the wall. So as you can see, we lost somebody, but in the same respect, somebody else will probably be back.
Ready and wait.
So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds here to just kind of enjoy the gameplay. And I'm going to shut up for a little bit. And we're going to watch some of this go down. Things are going to start getting serious when come wave 40, even on, I think this is on casual. So, but it should be pretty fun. It's either on casual or normal. So I don't know if they updated it or how they did it. So, and they might, I think there's even a modifier for XP, but since I already have my XP, I don't really pay attention.
I am in the zone!
Get up. Good to go. Revive me! Revive me! What's wrong with you? Get up! Be a man! Smash for the effort! Coming in! Surprise! Gotcha.
Taking fire! I am in the zone!
Use some help.
And stand up like a man! Taking fire!
Who's next? Hold up. I'm not done with you. Go, go, go!
Yeah, this'll do.
Hey! Die, ground walker!
Yeah, this'll do.
You ugly mush!
Incoming in!
Shit, yeah.
This'll do.
Ha! In your face! Whoa, I gotcha! Attack! Sweet!
Armed.
Throwing frag! I'm out! Shit, yeah. Frag out! Shit, yeah! scrub!
Thanks! Incoming frag! Shit, yeah! Who's next? Out of ammo!
Charge!
Who's next? Got him. Attack! Got him!
Incoming in!
Mine now.
I'll take this.
I'm hit! Yeah!
Let's do this.
Oh shit, that's close.
Little help!
Friendly fire! Mine now.